So let's build a Texas Star. Getting ready to move everything to Texas, so I thought this would be a great project, something to hang up on the outside, and I thought I'd do a little bit of LED work with it. So in SketchUp I created this image, scaled it out about 28 inches overall height. I'm going to do a 3D front star and then create a background out of flat metal and then do reverse LED lighting inside the 3D star. I then took the 3D star, segmented it out, took a single segment from this. Then in SketchUp I took that segment, once it comes up here, I measured it out, got the angles for the segment, and then once I did this, I transferred these over to a piece of metal and created a template. Here I've taken my template and I've started the process of cutting all the segments out. There'll be a total of 10 segments, 2 segments per star point. I laid them out just to get a sort of a rough fit, see how it looked. Then I cleaned them up. Got all the slag off the edges and some of the gray paint. Used some magnets I had to set up a jig so I could weld 2 pieces at a time together. The angle here is about 145 degrees on the outside. I just did a couple of tacks to hold it there, then did another test fit, make sure everything was in alignment. Then I came back, did my quick tacks all the way around to hold it together. And now I'm doing the tedious job of sealing up all the joints between all the segments. Decided to go TIG on this versus MIG. I had a little more heat control over it. Filled in the point where all the segments came together. Then I ground all the rough edges down and cleaned up some more of the paint on the segments. I had some pitting in the segments, so contemplate on doing either a re-weld and heating it up again, or come back and maybe doing some filler. I'm painting these. I'll paint them the actual colors of the Texas flag. Here's some scrap I got out of the scrap yard, and I'm cutting it up to create the back plate. Unfortunately, it was a little short. Came up about 4 inches short, so what I did was I just took a extra piece and patterned it out with the end of the point and then tacked that on the end of it to make up the difference. It's just a back plate, so no structural strength needed. Now here I'm going to plasma out the back plate. I had to grind off all the blue that was on here. I wasn't getting any kind of connection on my plasma. Here I'm creating the standoffs for the 3D star to mount to the back plate. And here I'm going to tack these on to each one of the points. Just used a magnet to hold them up in place while I tacked them. Get a pre-fit here. Cleaned up the outside where it had a little bit of penetration through it. Here I'm taping off the inside of the 3D star to cover the metal so it doesn't get paint on it. That's where I'm going to actually mount my LED strips. Doing some cleanup work here. Notice I've already tacked up that one point with that extra piece of metal. Cleaning everything up. So ultimately decided to do some metal filling here to just take care of the little pits around the edges of where it was welded together. Clean it all up. Got most of the high spots. Had to come back and do some hand sanding down in the valleys of each one of the points. Here's my power supply from LEDs. I got some waterproof power supplies. So I'm putting a mounting hole here. And the reason I did this is I fix it so if this thing ever goes out on me, I can replace it without having to tear the star completely apart. So I've mounted this through 2 screws on the back, so I just have to take those out and it'll slide right out. Here I'm creating some brackets to actually mount the back plate to whatever I end up mounting it to. Cut these into about 2-inch by 1-inch rectangles. Then we'll take them over and I'm going to bend them in half roughly. Then I'm taking them over to the drill press. I'm going to drill holes in them to have the ability of mounting some screws through them. And then I'm tacking them on. I put one at the top of the star and then 2 at the points on the very bottom. And here I'm putting some primer on, getting it ready to be painted. I use black primer on the back of the back plate. Here I'm mounting the LED strips. These are waterproof LED strips, white. Then I'm putting the base coat of white on both the star and the back plate. This is a gloss enamel. And then I'm going to tape this up and I'm going to do the blue fields on the star and the back plate. And once that dries, I'll move my paper around to protect that and put the red in. And here I'm getting it ready to wire up. I decided to use some quick connect connectors for the power supply and then a female connector on the LEDs. So again, if I have to replace that power supply at any point, it just unplugs. And then I'm attaching the standoffs to the back. And there you go.